After episode 1 went out, I found myself thinking less about what I had said and more about how people were holding it. Some of the messages were warm, some were thoughtful, while some were clearly trying to make sense of things. And that told me something important. Not that people disagreed, but that they were trying to place what they heard, trying to understand if this is about stopping thoughts or about controlling emotions, or is this about becoming detached from life? So before we go any further today, let me say this clearly and gently. This space is not about escaping thoughts. It is not about becoming blank. And it is definitely not about becoming emotionally numb or thick-skinned. The human mind doesn't work that way. And honestly, life would not make sense if it did. What we are exploring here is something much simpler and much more human. Let us talk about overthinking today. Most of us say it casually. I overthink, almost like it is a personality trait. Sometimes we say it with frustration, sometimes with pride. As if overthinking means we are intelligent, alert, or responsible. But overthinking isn't intelligence. Intelligence has movement, it adapts. It knows when to engage and when to rest. But overthinking feels different. It is repetitive, circular. The same thought visiting again and again, hoping this time it will feel lighter. It's like pacing the same stretch of road, convinced that if you walk it long enough, you will reach somewhere new. Here is something important to understand. The mind doesn't overthink because it wants to torture us. It does it because it learned vigilance. At some point in life, staying alert felt necessary. Maybe there was unpredictability, emotional safety wasn't consistent, or maybe mistakes had consequences. So the mind adapted. It learned to anticipate, to rehearse conversations even before they happened, to imagine outcomes before they arrived. Almost like saying, if I stay awake, nothing will surprise us. The intention is protection, but the cost is rest. This is where confusion often creeps in. When we talk about pausing or stepping back from thoughts, people sometimes hear that as stop thinking or remove emotions. That is not what this is. You cannot remove thoughts. You cannot remove emotions. Even in sleep, the mind dreams. Even in stillness, some things move inside. So this is not about blank mind. It is about not being dragged by every thought that appears. There is a big difference. Think of it this way. Thoughts are like traffic on a road. And awareness is not about stopping the traffic. It is about not standing in the middle of it. You can notice the cars without chasing each one. That's not detachment. That is intelligence. Another misunderstanding I want to gently clear because it comes up often. Not reacting does not mean not feeling. It does not mean becoming indifferent nor suppressing emotion. And it definitely doesn't mean pretending nothing affects you. It simply means giving yourself a moment between what happens and how you respond. That pause is not absence, it is space. And space changes everything. Many people confuse awareness with control. They think, if I'm aware, I should be calm. If I'm calm, I shouldn't feel disturbed. That's not how humans work. You can feel anger and still be aware. You can feel sadness and still be present. You can feel unsettled and still be grounded. Because awareness doesn't remove emotion. It changes your relationship with it. Now, overthinking often shows up when the body hasn't been listened to. The mind keeps spinning, but underneath, the body is tired. Sleep becomes lighter. Breathing becomes shallow. Joy becomes conditional. You are here, but part of you is always ahead preparing. Well, life happens quietly while the mind is busy rehearsing life. Let us pause here for a moment, not to fix anything or to calm anything, but just notice. Notice what your mind is doing right now. Is it listening, evaluating, or is it wondering whether this applies to you? Whatever it is doing, that is okay. But just ask yourself gently, is this thought helping me in this moment? And if the answer is no, you don't need to throw the thought away, but just don't carry it for a while. Like settling down a bag you've been holding only to realize you did not need to. Another thing I want to be clear about. This isn't about reaching a permanent state of peace or bliss. That idea puts unnecessary pressure on people. Human experience moves. Some moments are calm, some are messy, some are unresolved. That doesn't mean something is wrong. Peace isn't a destination. It is something that appears briefly when resistance drops, and then it appears again. That's normal. Overthinking doesn't mean you're weak. More often, it means you have been strong for a long time. Strong enough to manage uncertainty, strong enough to keep functioning, strong enough to hold things together. But even strength needs rest. Otherwise, it tightens, it aches, and then it exhausts itself. The mind doesn't need to be defeated. It needs to feel safe. This space, unlabeled mind, is not asking you to become someone else. It is not asking you to think less or feel less. It is simply inviting you to notice. When thinking becomes compulsive, when emotions become overwhelming, and when a small pause might help. Not every thought needs action. Not every emotion needs fixing. Not every silence needs filling. So if this episode feels longer than the last one, that is intentional. Some conversations need time. Some ideas need space. You don't have to listen to all of this at once. You can pause. You can come back. That's part of the practice too. If this stayed with you, don't rush to do anything about it. Just notice. Today, when your mind speeds up and when it naturally slows down, Because when the mind feels safe, it doesn't need to overthink. This is Unlabelled Mind, a space where thoughts don't need labels and you don't have to figure everything out today. I will see you in the next episode.